everybody, and welcome to Absurd Hypotheticals, the show where we overthink dumb questions so you don't have to. I'm your host, Marcus Lehner, and I'm joined here today by Ben Storms and Chris Yee. Say hi, guys.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Chris. And today I noticed something kind of weird. I was looking at my driver's license, and it says...
Yeah, that's you on there, Chris. That weird thing, that's your face.
Yeah, the picture. I didn't know it was me. Yeah, it says I'm 5'5", and I'm totally not 5'5".
Wait, how tall are you?
I'm 5'10". I don't know why it says 5'5".
You can't typo from 10 to 5. Like, it's got 2 digits.
Yeah, that's like a big difference.
That's a big jump, yeah. Do you have like an old ID? Is it just like...
So I was thinking, because I got my first ID when I was 16, and then I renewed it like 2 years ago. I was thinking it might be for my old ID, but I don't think I was 5'5" back then when I was 16. That's still a lot.
Yeah, that would be like a really late growth spurt, because I'm pretty sure I was my full height at 16 when I got my license.
And I was thinking, because like a couple years ago when I had my old ID, I was going to get something notarized.
And the notary asked, "How tall are you?" And you panicked.
Well, no, it had my signature from when I was 16, and since then my signature has changed. So they didn't believe it was me, because I couldn't replicate my old...
They called you on your signature?
Yeah, I couldn't replicate my old signature. So they didn't believe it was me. And now I'm thinking, maybe he saw my height, too. And he's like,
oh my god.
This guy totally isn't the right guy.
See, I was thinking about... I'm thinking about that now, too, because, like, if you go to, like, the DMV and you're like, hey, I need to get my ID updated, and it's like, what's wrong with it? You're like, my height is wrong. And they're like, are you Chris Yee? And what are you going to do to prove it? You have... I guess you can bring your passport or something, but who carries that around? You're going to be like, here's my license. And they're like, are you him? And you're like, yeah. All right, show me your license. Like, I just gave it to you.
It says you're 5'5" on this. You don't look like you're 5'5".
Yeah, you looked way too tall.
Yeah, there's no way to verify it.
What you do is you get fake heels so that you're actually flat-footed, but it looks like you're wearing 5-inch heels.
I don't see how that's possible.
How would that work?
So you get, like, wedges, right?
Yeah.
Because they're, like, the triangle shape.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's actually hollow on the inside. So you're flat-footed on the floor. And they're kind of just, like, up your leg a bit.
Interesting.
And so when they're like, you don't look 5'5", and you're like, oh, I'm wearing 5-inch heels. And then they measure the heel and like, yep, that's 5 extra inches. You must be Chris.
And they're not just like, take off your shoes?
You would be like, I'm uncomfortable. I have a religious thing about shoes, specifically 5-inch wedges that you can't inspect too closely. You're making me uncomfortable.
I'm a 5-inch Adventist.
We believe in all things 5 inches.
I mean, apparently this 5'5" has been on my ID for like 10 years and I haven't noticed it.
See, that baffles me a little bit more. Like, you must have had this in your back pocket. Like, this must be a thing that you've known.
Yeah, but I don't look at it. Like, have you seen the height on your driver's license? It's very small.
Yeah, it's 6 foot. It's pretty big. Bigger than 5'5".
The only reason I noticed it is because I had to send it to someone, so I made a copy of it. And on the computer screen, it was like giant.
I can basically guarantee, I don't have it on me to check, but I can basically guarantee that actually my weight is wrong on my driver's license. Maybe they just don't care. Like,
does it show your weight?
Wait, you don't put your weight on there?
Yeah, I don't see my weight on my driver's license.
Is your weight really on your driver's license?
I'm holding it right now. I don't see anything.
Did you get a fake driver's license that has your weight on it where they're like...
That's why it never worked. God damn it.
Your back alley dealer is just like, oh, I just put on a big fatso weight for everybody because, you know, that's my little gift to myself.
Who's gonna call you on it? Who's gonna call you out?
He used to be the guess your weight guy at the carnival, and he just misses those times. Man, that guy really knew my weight. I didn't tell him. He must have just guessed. All right, guys, we got some stuff we need to do here, and that stuff is answering questions. So our first question today is, what if all paper disappeared? So I'm taking this. I'll start. I'm taking this as all paper, cardboard, most of like the wood byproducts where it's like this is a thing made out of paper. If you like look at it, or if you like Google it a little bit, which is how I find out most things by Googling just a little bit and not digging too deep.
In this question, you can't make new paper too, right?
Well, I didn't go quite that far.
Oh yeah.
But losing all the paper has some problems. But the big problems I didn't think were actually that big a deal. So first one, obviously, cash. Legal stuff, title deeds. These are the important things that you have like a paper document of. But just about all of this is backed up digitally. Like if all my legal papers like disappeared, they have a digital copy. Like I'll go to, you know, the DMV, I guess, and I'll be like, hey, I need this piece of paper back. And they'd be like, oh yeah, here it is. And cash kind of will suck for some people, but who carries that much cash around nowadays anymore? Like the only people who get screwed are the people who put all their cash under their mattress. And for them, it's like, Just learn what a bank does. Just do that already. This is teaching you a lesson. So I was worried about the big picture stuff, but I don't think it's that big a deal, especially not compared to like the personal stuff that you're going to have to deal with, like the in-home problems. So as we do on the show, the first thing I'm going to address is the poop problem.
Of course.
Toilet paper is made out of paper, and that is just not something that you want to have to live without.
It is a pretty big problem.
My first thought, and the first thing that came up when I Googled it, was using small towels, which the internet worryingly has dubbed family cloth, which really turned me off to the whole concept very, very quickly. And I don't think this is a good thing, because how often do you guys do laundry?
Like once a week?
Yeah, something like that.
Like once a week, and me being realistic, I do it like once every other week and just let it build up a bit and do like 2 loads. If I have all this extra laundry, like, it's gonna be at least sitting there for like a week, sometimes 10 days, and it's gonna be just poop smell all in my bathroom. You basically might as well have a litter box, which is not a good solution. We can't do that either. Also, it doesn't fix you wiping your butt. You can still use the toilet.
Yeah, you have to use a litter box.
You have to use a litter box for no reason.
Toilets are made of paper.
So that was one of the alternatives presented from my online search. The other one is the bidet, which is a great start. The problem is the bidet only does like 90% of the work. And the people that were recommending the bidet as an alternative to toilet paper was just like, oh, you just finish up with your hand, no problem.
What?
And you just wash your hands.
No.
No, it's just not acceptable.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm not down with this plan.
The next one was leaves / corn husks.
See, leaves was the first thing that I thought of.
Right. So leaves, you get the right leaves. The problem with the leaves and the corn husks is that they're fine when they're fresh. But you're going to want to store this stuff. Like, you're not going to have to go out and get leaves every time you have to go poop. And it's also kind of a problem where if you have to poop and you don't have leaves prepared, you're kind of in a catch-22 because you don't have time to go get the leaves before you have to poop.
Would you describe yourself as up shit creek without a paddle?
You're up Schitt's Creek without a leaf, which I think is just a slightly bit worse.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
And they were talking about, like, going through all these things like, oh, in the winter when, you're not going to have fresh corn husks, you can, like, soak them before you put them up your bum. And I'm like, nope.
Could you keep them in the fridge? Like, what would that work? That seems weird. I don't want to keep my, like, toilet paper equivalent in the fridge. Like, I guess...
The thing is, like, would you, like, if you have lettuce, would you, like, eat lettuce that's been in your fridge, like, for 6 months?
Probably not.
Probably not, no.
Because if I wouldn't eat it, I probably wouldn't wipe my butt with it. Well, exception toilet paper. And the last alternative that the internet provided was rocks.
What?
Okay, hold on.
Where you just have a big smooth rock without any jags or roughness, and you use that to wipe your butt, being sure to rinse the rock to get off the debris in between.
Why would your mind even go there in that direction?
Don't you also need, like, a little bit of roughness? Like, it can't be perfectly smooth, right?
Oh, yeah, you're just smearing it around.
You need some friction.
You need something to, like, collect, Like...
I will say I don't really have a good solution to this one.
So you didn't solve the poop problem.
My thought is... So this is the best I got. I think you have to go the bidet route, but you need a bidet that you don't have to follow up with the hand. So you need a more powerful bidet. And so you can't obviously be more powerful without, like, making a mess of your bathroom. So it can't shoot up into your butt. So I'm thinking you kind of just have like a fast, like it sets up like a fast river stream. So it's kind of like a flat, very fast water stream in the toilet. And you kind of just dip in. You get a little butt dip. You'll get wet, but you can use a towel to dry a clean butt as long as you're not like really washing it, the nasty stuff.
Or you could have like one of those blowy dryer things.
Yeah. Butt blow dryer would be good too.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many holes I want to stick my butt into on a daily basis.
I mean, it's your only option. You don't have toilet paper.
And so that's half the poop problem.
Oh, that's only half?
What's the other half?
The other half is little tiny people with their diapers.
Oh.
Because disposable diapers, are a paper product.
I mean, cloth diapers are a thing.
So cloth diapers are a thing, but they have disposable paper inserts.
Oh.
You can't just give your kid a pair of booty shorts and just be like, oh, he'll just poop in these, and when he poops in them, I'll just throw them out. And there's just about no other alternatives for diapers. Like, what do you do with your kid?
Rocks.
Rocks.
You just plug them up, cork it. The rock comes out twice a day above the toilet, and we deal with it. So, for the diapers, what about just nothing? Just kids don't wear pants anymore until they're potty trained.
So they just poop everywhere?
They just poop wherever, which isn't a great solution, I admit.
Are you just like replacing your entire flooring with tarps? Like, are you...
I mean, that's not a bad idea with a kid anyway. If you just need that little bit of extra motivation to get like the hardwood floors and all tile, like that might be the way to do it.
Maybe not too expensive a hardwood, but yeah, I get your point.
Is this leading to
No. Everyone, stop the podcast. I have the answer.
Oh, okay.
A poop Roomba that follows your baby around.
Using the technology that enables Teslas to auto-drive. It maintains a safe falling distance from your child.
Yeah, it keeps at least 2 Roomba lengths between itself and your child.
It'll be its constant companion until they're 14.
Because honestly, if you have a poop Roomba falling around, what's the motivation to get toilet trained, really?
Right? You don't give that up.
If you tell your kid they're gonna get potty trained so that they can lose their robot friend that follows them everywhere, that's just not acceptable.
I mean, when they grow up, they're just gonna hire like a poop butler, right, to pick up their poop, and that'll be the equivalent.
I mean, that's the very rich. The very rich will do that.
I guess the plan with the poopba, if you will, you're gonna have to give it a face and make it very upset when the poop goes into it, so the child wants to stop hurting its friend.
Oh my god, give it that little, like, that seal, the robo-seal pet that they give to lonely people.
Oh, yeah.
That already has a very sad and adorable face.
Exactly. It's perfect.
And then just the head just detaches and raises up to, like, scoop up the poop and goes back down and just turns to a frown.
Why are you doing this to me?
Every time I poop, my robot friend slightly decapitates itself. So now I don't poop anymore. Yay!
Yeah, I guess that's the problem, is that the kid's motivation isn't, I'm gonna learn how to poop in the toilet, it's, I'm not gonna poop.
Right.
I think the poop Roomba could solve a bunch of these problems, so I think we're actually doing okay. I have one more thing that's hard to find an alternative for. One thing I did not realize is a quote-unquote paper product is actually toothpaste.
What?
So part of what makes toothpaste like the texture it is a wood pulp creation. It was unclear, but came up on like 5 lists as a paper product. Now this one, even more than the toilet paper, I think had just bad alternatives. Number 1 on the toothpaste alternatives list was just sea salt.
How is that an alternative?
It's abrasive. No, I understand that. I don't want to do it, but
Yeah. So and I quote this from the article. They just started a new paragraph. Worried about abrasion? Me too. You can dissolve it. Second alternative, dissolve sea salt.
So you're saying things are going to get salty in some way.
And I'm just like, this is just so bad. Like, first off, just sea salt that's unacceptable. Just imagine that on your gums.
You just pour some salt in your mouth and just go to town?
Yeah, no, it's not good. And I had some dental work done. My dentist recommended doing like a sea salt rinse. Or not sea salt, just a salt water rinse. And my mouth didn't feel super good after all those things. Because it like dries out and it's just like, ugh. Next alternative, baking soda.
Worse than salt?
Yeah, also not something I want a whole bunch of in my mouth.
No, I don't think I've ever tasted baking soda.
I intend to keep it that way if I can.
And again, number 3, baking soda. This gonna suck? Yeah. Number 4, add water. Dissolved baking soda. Is this like a street? Like, who made this list where they're like, oh yeah, top 1, ruin your mouth horribly. Second option, actually, maybe you want to dissolve it. That might be a little better. Who knows?
Wait, did you just say that alternative 1 is salt and alternative 2 through 4 were baking soda?
So 1 was sea salt. 2 was dissolved sea salt. 3 was baking soda. 3 was dissolved baking soda.
Oh, okay.
And number 5 actually was the one that kind of worried me, because there's a thing that exists called tooth soap.
That doesn't sound appetizing.
Yeah, and actually, I've now messed up. Rewind, because that was number 6, was the tooth soap, the soap specifically designed for teeth. Number 5 was just soap.
No.
In which they were like, oh yeah, it may taste bad.
No shit. Like,
it's like, this is my article I'm posting on the internet for the world to see and to inform them about toothpaste alternatives. And I'm going to be like, use soap. Oh no, that's not going to work. Next one.
What were the credentials of this person?
have owned teeth for most of life.
Not all life, most of it.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just not good options. And so pretty much, I really didn't make, like, in prepping this episode, I really didn't make it very far out of the bathroom because there were just so many problems. But the one big thing that is now become a small fear of mine is that all labels on things would disappear. So you go to the supermarket and you go into the aisle and there's a bunch of food and you don't know what it is and all the prices are gone and you're going to have to just collect stuff and bring it to the cashier and they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's going to be this amount of money.
They're not going to know how much money it is either, though. All the barcodes will be gone.
Well, they're going to you can teach the people how much everything costs. Like, the people that work there are going to know. They're going to know what all the foods are. They're going to be able to tell the difference between, like, an onion and a shallot and a rhubarb and, like, a red onion and the other type of fruits and vegetables. And I'm going to be just not being able to tell that difference. And I'm going to feel so bad and cook with so many things that are not what I think they are.
But, like, what about just, like all the flour is just in paper bags. So, like, it's just going to be kind of...
piles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to be, like, salt, a bag of sugar, and a bag of flour next to each other. And you're going to be like...
Just scoop some up and dump in a plastic baggie and hope you got the right one.
Yeah, it's like, do you guys have, like, tasting holes in these bags where I can just, like, kind of stick my finger in? But, like, it's now, like I said, it's becoming a fear of mine because now I just feel like I don't know what food is. Like, I don't know how much I rely on it being labeled versus, like, if I could identify it in the wild. You know, like... I could tell, I know if I go out in a tropical rainforest and I see bananas, I'm be like, okay, those are bananas. I know that. But I'm not sure how much that holds true for, like, all the foods in the supermarket for me. Like, meats, I'm gonna be so lost.
Does that really matter? That doesn't matter.
It makes me feel anxious, like, socially anxious.
That's like an irrational fear.
Like I said, this is a personal, like, just phobia that I'm developing all on my own here.
You got your own demons, man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stoke this imaginary demon and then just... someday I'm gonna go to the supermarket and, like, it'll have just been, like, raining a lot and all the delivery that they got soaked and all the labels got soaked and fell off and I'm gonna live my nightmare.
You're just gonna run screaming out of the supermarket.
Labels! Why are there no labels? Ben, what were you thinking now that I'm spiraling out of control uncontrollably?
So I actually, I looked at a few things, but I want to actually looping back around to one of the kind of bigger picture things. Just looking at, like, the United States, there's going to be kind of a national identity crisis, literally, because a lot of our, like, proofs of identification are paper. So, like, your social security card, your birth certificate, the pages in your passport. I think, like, the cover is probably not...
Hey, Chris, your license problem's self-solving.
My driver's license is plastic.
Driver's licenses are plastic. So driver's licenses work.
So everyone will know that I'm 5'5".
Well, kind of. So the problem is there's this law that was enacted called the Real ID law, where basically the Department of Homeland Security didn't trust state-issued driver's licenses. So they basically said by May 11th, 2008, you have to rework your systems in a way that makes it so we will accept these. And then in 2007, that got extended to December of 2009. And then in 2008, that got extended to 2011. That happened a couple more times. And now the date is, I think, October of this year. Everyone has to be in compliance. So a lot of states, not a lot, most states, I guess, have... more than half of the states, I will say,
just keep hedging numbers, Ben. We'll look it up afterwards and slot in the right sound clip.
Well, no. So the bad news is, if you live in Alaska, California, Idaho, Illinois, Kentucky, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, New Hampshire, New Jersey, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Virginia, or Washington State, not D.C., you are not in compliance. Which I'm assuming mean the government, the federal government, would not accept your license probably as proof of you being you. And I mean, in this extenuating circumstance, maybe they would, bend the rules a little bit, but you're also, like, giving someone a social security card, so you might not want to do that.
Wait, you said this was happening this year?
Yeah, it might get extended again. I don't know.
How does, like, nobody know about this?
People know about it. They learn about it when they go to the airport mostly.
Oh.
Because they'll, like, try to use their ID to, actually, I think there's actually signs up about it in, like, airports a lot of the time saying, like, hey, you're going to need a better ID at some point. So, like, get on that. I don't know.
Sorry, going back to the airport. I just was reading today that, this husband booked a flight for him and his wife, and being cute, like, he hand wrote on the ticket stub or whatever, the wife's nickname as, like, as like a middle name.
Oh no.
Like literally handwritten on like a printout. And when they brought it to the check-in for the airport, the front desk put in that middle name as her real middle name. So when they got to the next stage of airport security, they're like, your passport doesn't match your name. And they couldn't resolve it before the flight left, and they missed their flight because the husband put a cute nickname for her as like a cute little like, oh hey, Honey Bun. And it's like, nope. My middle name's not actually Honey Bun.
That's incredible. So yeah, some driver's license will work. There's some other things that'll still be around, like military ID cards. If you are like active or former military, you have an ID card that I'm assuming is not paper. I couldn't actually find that out for sure, but permanent resident cards. I figure government employees are probably fine if you have a like badge to get into your work or something. And one thing I realized, anyone who's ever been fingerprinted should be fine.
Oh, yeah.
So, felons and also people like me who have to work with money.
Are felons like now the reverse felons because they're the only legal people?
Ooh, that's Twilight Zone.
The tables have turned.
I smell a new Hunger Games.
Wait, I don't think that's the plot to Hunger Games.
Don't think about it. So really you just have the situation where not everyone, but a decent chunk of the country basically can't prove that they are who they say they are with any real, like, simple way. It'll get resolved eventually. How? I honestly don't know. Like, I was trying to figure out a way that you could do this. I really couldn't come up with one.
What about Facebook shares?
But I mean, like, you can totally fake a Facebook profile.
Yeah, that's irrelevant though. Because if you fake a new profile, nobody's gonna like it. So you gotta be like, I have all these 150 Facebook friends, and when I prove my identity post, if I get 100 likes, you make me illegal.
This is like how many retweets do I need to get McNuggets for a year or some shit like that? Like,
yeah, how many retweets do I need to not get deported?
Yeah, to be a citizen again. But yeah, so there will be a stretch of time if this were to happen where you can't do a lot of stuff. I don't know. And I really, honestly, I don't know if you guys have any ideas on how you would solve this, but I thought for a while I could not come up with anything. And now, I know this is a impossible thing to happen, but
I mean, I guess this means I don't have to wear fake heels anymore.
Right, yeah, you got bigger problems.
Yeah, you can ditch those wedges.
I mean, no one will believe the 5'5" because it's on a fake ID.
Right, actually, that is a problem, is that I can totally see a situation where this happens where they're like, okay, we'll let you use your state IDs, and you're going to get your social security card, and they're like, sir, this says 5'5". Is this a fake ID? No, I swear it's been like that. I promise.
Yeah, any small hiccup in your paperwork that existed that would have been proved by paperwork is now very problematic.
There were some other things I looked into as well that I sadly couldn't find enough on. One of the coolest ones was this thing called paper honeycomb, which is it's a type of building and packing material apparently. Apparently, it's used a lot for the inside of doors, which, I mean, if that disappeared, your doors will be flimsy. It's not the biggest deal.
Yeah, of the problems we're talking about.
Well, the one thing, and this is what I was trying, I'm so annoyed because on the Wikipedia page about paper honeycomb, it mentions that after World War II ended, it was used primarily as a structural material in the reconstruction of Europe. And I really, really wanted to find out more about that to see if just Europe would fall over. I just could not find enough, and I'm very sad because Europe could just not economically collapse. I mean literally Europe could just fold in on itself.
Just a stiff breeze.
But I just sadly could not find enough about it. But it's very possible that European homes would just start caving in.
Yeah, I mean, that's why London Bridge kept falling down, was because it was made out of paper, and then it would rain, it would get soggy, and then it would fall down.
That seems like a really bad idea for London specifically. I mean, anywhere in general, but specifically London too.
Then the resident London origami master went and folded up a new one and put it into place, and it would last a few more days, and it would rain again. So really the guy just has job security. Good for him. It kind of just messes with the commute a bit.
I do like the idea of some person who was set out to fold 10,000 paper cranes as a Zen thing, and they finish the last one, and then immediately they all disappear, and they start swearing nonstop.
No,
oh God, no!
It's not fair.
That's just a Twilight Zone episode. Not a good one, but it is a Twilight Zone episode.
You know who's really affected the hardest? Jim Davis. What's he gonna do? What's Jim Davis gonna do with no paper to put Garfield in?
There's going to be this really, really sad commercial with Sarah McLachlan talking about how for pennies a day you could save at Jim Davis on, just yourself.
See, he's fucked. He already cashed in the movie. He can't get off the print medium. He has nothing left. No one wants Garfield 2. Garfield visits some other big mansion for no reason. Didn't
they already make Garfield 2?
Wasn't there something like Big Cat in the City or something? I don't know.
Pretty sure they already made Garfield 2.
God, why is that knowledge in my brain?
I mean, they got Bill Murray to do the voice, so they got voice talent.
I guess Bill Murray's just doing anything nowadays, huh?
Anyway, the identification problem is maybe a bit of a problem. And, obviously other issues as well, rip Jim Davis, but...
He doesn't die.
He relies a lot on paper, my friend. So yeah, what do you have, Chris?
Okay, so I came to the same conclusion as Marcus. Like all the important stuff, like money, records, even books and stuff like that, none of that really is going to change just because everything is digital. So the one thing that wouldn't survive is the fortune cookie industry.
Oh.
So I did a little bit of research on fortune cookies, and every year 3 billion fortune cookies are made.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's a lot of fortune cookies. I also looked up the price. The wholesale price of 350 pack of fortune cookies is $7.80. If you do the math out, that's $66 million worth of fortune cookies every year.
That's
Wow.
absurd.
Just comparatively, what I found out from my research a few weeks ago with the Falcon 9 space shuttle, it costs $62 million to launch a space shuttle into space. So we spend more money on fortune cookies.
We spend more money on a lot of things than going to space. We'll probably spend more money figuring out if Chris is actually 5'5" than going to space.
Yeah, so that's a lot of fortune cookies. And it turns out that most of those fortune cookies are manufactured by just one company, Wonton Food Inc. in New York City.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. Rewind. Whoop, whoop, whoop. New York City.
Yeah, so fortune cookies aren't really a Chinese thing, actually. They're basically just an American thing.
What the fuck?
Actually doesn't surprise me at all, honestly.
Well, it surprises me because even if it was an American thing, we would still have them made in China.
If you go to China, like, no restaurants have fortune cookies at all. It's not a thing there.
Right, but they would make them. Like, it would be at least cyclical.
Actually, I think they tried testing it out in China, and the people were just like, no, this is too American. I don't like this.
I don't like these American papers in my cookies.
So Wonton Food Inc., they manufacture 4.5 million fortune cookies per day.
Yikes.
And then there's another company, it's called Yang's Fortunes. They don't make the cookies, but they print a lot of fortunes, like the actual paper. And these two companies basically just write all of the fortunes in the world, and no other companies do.
Can we write them some strongly worded letters about how fortunes suck nowadays?
They've really definitely gone downhill since I was a kid.
Well, the thing is, up until 2005, it was just one person at each of these companies. So 2 people in the world were writing all the fortunes. And then after that, Wonton Food Inc. started hiring freelance writers. But up until then, it was just 2 people.
Well, you had 2 psychics, I'm assuming, doing the actual fortunes.
Yeah, they got to be legit.
It's got to be exhausting coming up with 4 million individual fortunes each day. You're going to be rubbing that crystal ball down to nothing. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they're just going through too many crystal balls. Because, like, last time, like, you know, you used to get a fortune cookie. It used to be a fortune. It used to be like, next week we'll bring you tidings of lobster. And, like, a lobster would appear on the sidewalk. And you'd be like, oh, hey. And then they kind of segued into, like, sage advice where it's like, don't do unto others what you would have done to you, or you will be done unto them.
What?
And I'm like, okay, at least this feels Chinese and will help my life. And now it's just like, hope you had a great meal. And I'm like, you've robbed me of that experience just now with this fortune cookie.
They do have a database of 15,000 fortunes, so that's, maybe you're just getting unlucky.
I must be, like, it's the reverse lottery where it's just like, you just get served up disappointment.
So fun fact, there are also Mexican versions of the fortune cookie called the Lucky Taco. It's just like a little red taco with a fortune inside. And there's an Italian version called the Lucky Cannoli.
What?
Is it like in the filling?
No, there's no filling. It's just, the filling is the fortune.
It's more like, we ran out of filling for the cannolis. Have a piece of paper.
Yeah, so I wanted to break down the different parts of the actual paper that you get in the fortune cookie. There are 3 main parts. There's the translation, the lucky numbers, and the fortune.
Okay.
So the translation, I think if paper disappeared, we'd lose the translation, and that's really like the best way to learn a language, right?
We would lose the ability to communicate with the Chinese people if we do not have the fortune cookies for reference.
You want to learn one word at a time, and you want to get random words that don't relate to each other at all.
You want to make sure there was absolutely zero context or you'll get too confused.
I actually disagree here completely or agree but not sarcastically, because last time I got fortune cookies, I got 3 fortune cookies, and my 3 translated words were beer, cheap beer. I got beer twice, so they're on the mark. They know what I want.
I got one that taught me how to say disease.
In case you need this for your court filings.
I feel like if I own a Chinese restaurant and someone showed me they got a fortune cookie at my restaurant that showed them how to say disease in Chinese, I would actually be quite upset.
Okay, and then the next component is the lucky numbers. We were talking about the lottery before. It turns out that in 2005, there were 110 people that had won the Powerball because they played the lucky numbers from a fortune cookie.
Do you have any idea what the 110 number compares to?
You mean like out of how many people in the world got fortune cookies?
No, like out of how many people won the lottery. So what percentage of lottery winners use the fortune cookie method, and then we can decide if the fortune cookie method is the proper method to play the lottery.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not.
I'm pretty sure the optimal strategy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hope they slip up.
Damn it, forgot to hit random.
I mean, the thing is, if you play the numbers on a fortune cookie, chances are other people did too. And then if you win, you have to split it with them.
That's true.
Well, I imagine no two fortune cookies have the same numbers. Why would they?
Because there are templates. Yeah, so luckily the people that won, they only won second place. I think it was a total of $19 million that they had to pay out. But if they had all won first place, I don't know what they would have done. That would have been way too much money.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say it's 110 people won at the same time on the same numbers?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I just understood like 110 people who played their numbers won the lottery.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
No, 110 at the same time is fucking buck wild. Let's wind up and react to that better.
There was actually like an investigation on it because they thought there was like foul play or something.
Oh my god.
Well, and what that means too is that like we can't know that it was only those 110 people too, right?
More people could have gotten the fortune cookies.
Well, and like, there's definitely other people who have won the lottery this way. We need to figure out a way to actually scientifically find out how many people have won the lottery with their fortune cookie lucky numbers.
Okay, you get a fortune cookie, you have to register your numbers.
But it's going to be tough to kind of get this community going, give people registration numbers and track all this when there's no paper left to track.
That's true. It's going to be...
Because we're not going to have any new fortune cookie crime. Also, all scratch-off tickets will disappear. So, well, that's not the lottery. But no, all lottery tickets will disappear. So that's a problem.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I actually didn't think about that. That's actually like... Well, I mean, it doesn't change things for most people, but...
So I guess it doesn't matter that there's no lucky numbers because there's no lottery to win anyway.
It's like, I'll take the cash option. And they're just like...
Sucker.
Sucker.
Okay, so that's the lucky numbers. Now I want to move on to the fortune part, which is the part that everyone actually cares about. And usually the fortune, as Marcus mentioned, is just like advice now. But sometimes the advice isn't necessarily that clear. So I've put together a list and I want to see if we can come up with what these actually mean. So the first one, it says, you have an unusual equipment for success. Use it properly.
Is this referring to two people that may or may not be in a horse costume? Like, they're in the horse costume. It's the big night of the big play. And they're feeling really nervous. And then as a, pre-game snack, they open up this fortune cookie and eat it. And they're like, bleh, why is this made entirely out of paper? And then they open it up and it tells them that they have everything they need to succeed.
They have the unusual equipment to succeed.
Horse costumes are pretty unusual.
And that's just, that hits deep. If I could see that performance, I would probably be crying.
And it's all thanks to this fortune cookie.
I think at that point, I think that fortune cookie should be taped to the inside, of the inner neck of the horse. And a second one by the butt for the butt person.
Yeah, they both have to see it.
So in a horse costume, does the person in the back have to bend over a lot, or is it a very tall costume?
I don't know. I've never been in a horse costume before.
Because in my head, just picturing it, it's one person is just at the hip level, they're bent over forward and hugging the waist of the person in front of them, and I realize that's probably not practical.
This is why you do camel costumes instead. You get a little more headroom.
I mean, it might just be that the head of the horse isn't filled and they're both standing up in the body of the horse.
Right, but then the horse is just very tall.
Yeah, that's a tall horse. But horses are tall anyway.
Well, this way you don't have to find someone short to play Napoleon in your play then, so it's really convenient.
Yeah, you don't go find someone who's 5'5".
The next one is, today give control over to another person. It is definite.
It is definite.
It is definite.
What does that even mean?
I have no idea.
I think this is one of those sexy time fortune cookies.
Definitely sexy.
Where it's this fortune is that you're definitely getting laid. And then the way you get laid is just I'm all yours. You do what you want. You get those handcuffs out, you get those high spiky boots, and you just have your fun.
I feel like this is how you wind up in a bathtub missing a kidney.
I mean, yeah, but at least you got off. At least you had your squish 'em up times.
I mean, I like that interpretation.
Wait, which one? The sexy times or the kidney loss?
I like both.
Okay.
A combination of the two.
It could be either. It's a vague fortune.
Okay, the next one is, only talented people get help from others.
Oh yeah, no, that's easy. So, have you ever been in a position where your friend's man, I want to do this thing. Hey, I want to do, unnamed friend I had was hey, I want to do this podcast where we answer hypothetical questions. And in my head, I'm like, but you're really just not funny or interesting. You're going to be so bad at it. And you want to help them, but you feel like helping them is actually hurting them because you kind of just want them to drop the whole idea. Again, totally unrelated, different friends, different podcast.
This is a really weird hypothetical situation for our Hypothetical Situations podcast.
Especially because the podcast was your idea, Marcus.
Like I said, different people, different podcast, completely hypothetical, but not absurd hypothetical.
Okay. And then the next one is, it is better to have beans and bacon in peace than cake and ale and fear.
Beans and bacon in peace?
Yes.
Or ale and
cake
in fear.
I mean, I'm kind of alright with this, because, like, beans and bacon sounds like a pretty good meal. Like, personally, I'm not opposed to this just anyway.
I mean, I like cake and ale, too.
I think this might be one of those, like, things where it's it's teaching you how to do a pros cons analysis, where, like, you have the foods are all pros, and then the last one is, like, one's a pro and one's a con. Like, being in fear is a pretty big con to balance out the cake and the ale, but the peace is like a pro to go along with your 3 other pros.
So it's just saying, like, all good stuff, and then obviously the one with the bad thing is worse.
Yeah, it's like a would you rather.
Right, but a really easy one, so you can't lose.
Obviously beans and bacon and peace.
I'm not big on beans, and I really like ale, and, you know, I can deal with a little fear in my life. Ride that emotional roller coaster.
Okay. And then this last one is my favorite one. Lucky you. Get out your party clothes.
Okay.
This is definitely about sexy times. No question.
What if just in this fortune cookie, you read that one, and then magically from the 2 halves of the fortune cookie, like 1,000 more fortunes start splaying out and attach themselves onto your body in a very mangled but like slimming fortune cookie suit.
I really hope it's not raining.
Yeah, rain would be bad, but I mean, usually I eat Chinese food inside. I don't eat Chinese food outside all that often. Chinese food is it is like 8:30 p.m. I did not plan anything for dinner. I'm not eating spaghetti, like plain spaghetti, because I have nothing else in my house. And I'm going to click it and order 3 meals and feel sad, but at the same time, very at peace with my beans and my bacon and my Chinese food. You know, I'm just thinking now, because I think I make a good point myself when I say that you usually order Chinese food when you're feeling sad or tired or, you know, when you're just like in a low place. So really all fortunes should be like pick-me-ups. Like, you're one day closer to Friday. Like, that's gonna give me a little smile. Like, that'll help cheer me up.
Or like lucky you, get out your party clothes.
Yeah, like that's a good one. Like that's probably the start of the trend. Like that's probably the last one on their list of 15,000, and everything from now on is just gonna be great pick-me-ups. Like feel good phrases that you can take with you and rebound from your Chinese food day.
That's nice. I like this idea.
I mean, I think we solved the fortune cookie problem.
I think we did. I think we solved the paper problem.
Yeah, it's great. So with that, I think we're going to jump from a word from our sponsors. Luckily, this week you guys were kind enough to get me some sponsors to read out. Thanks.
Yeah, Chris did all that.
I was in charge of that?
Yeah. Didn't you got my email?
No. From the minds that brought you the Wake Up Waffle, the greatest thing to hit the market since...
We interrupt this podcast to bring you an important announcement. Hi, my name's Marcus Lehner, host of Absurd Hypotheticals. I want to stop and talk about something important. We make a lot of jokes on the show about cartoonist and author of Garfield, Mr. Jim Davis. But while it may seem like all fun and games now, it's no joke that newspapers are going the way of the dodo, and our lovable orange cat is in danger of going extinct. To help protect our Sunday morning ecosystem for future generations, we've created the organization Garfield's Actually Really Funny, or GARF for short. Chris Yee, founder and president of GARF, would like to share a few words.
We all know that Garfield and real humor rarely coexist, and that it simply wouldn't survive if printed newspapers disappeared. Our goal here at GARF is to help with that transition by promoting social awareness. So let's join together and pretend that, yes, Garfield's actually really funny. Hopefully, through our seemingly heartfelt praise, Garfield can continue to exist long after newspapers are gone.
To help raise awareness and money for GARF, we will be hosting the first annual John R. Buckle Up Your Shoes and Run. It'll be a 5K race with a lasagna eating contest at the end of each kilometer. All proceeds will go to paying actors to go out in public and laugh at Garfield comics in coffee shops, chuckle at them on the subway, and give them silent but merry grins at libraries. So come out and join us this Sunday at Garf Field and help us keep Jim Davis' dream alive.
And that's why Candy Van is a name you can trust. Wow, thanks for getting us those ads, Chris. And Ben, too. Thanks, guys. Real good job you did there.
You're welcome. Those are good ads, right?
Not sarcastic at all.
You sound a little sarcastic. Is everything okay?
Yeah, no, that's just, I got a little tickle in my throat. It's just what's happening. It's just that the sounds are coming out this way.
No, they're awesome ads. I did an awesome job.
I'm proud of you, Chris, personally.
Let's see if you guys can't redeem yourself on the next question of the evening. What if all sports balls were replaced with beach balls? Ben, go.
All right. The first sport I looked at was basketball. I expect it to actually be very different with a beach ball. It actually, I think, works pretty well somehow. So I'm just assuming just kind of like a standard beach ball, like 15 inches in diameter or something like that. So that is obviously bigger than a basketball. It's about 5 inches wider. So you got to make the hoop bigger. One thing I did realize is that you definitely cannot have a net on the hoop because it's just going to get stuck in there literally every single time.
Oh my god, I remember that from a kid whenever you would use a not basketball and you'd be like, score! And it's like now 2 feet above your head and you have tiny kid arms and you can't get it.
Yeah, so just take the nets off. It's fine. It'll deal. Dribbling is kind of a problem. So fun fact, I actually, in the process of my research, I watched a lot of YouTube videos with only like 60 views of just
Chris,
like...
you watched me and Chris's YouTube channel?
Hey, I did. But no, like, apparently a lot of just, like, bored kids try to play basketball with beach balls, and dribbling actually works better than you'd expect it to. It's obviously not quite as controlled as with a basketball, but you can still do it. So I was expecting to have to do some, like, rule changes to figure this out, but I think you can still do it. The main thing, passing's a lot harder because it's really hard to make a beach ball move quickly and accurately. Actually, not even quickly and accurately, quickly or accurately.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a lot more like short range passes. It's going to be really easy to steal the ball because like it's really big.
And also like it gives a lot. So like if someone hits it, like you have to like squeeze it very hard not to have it like just pop out of your hands.
Right, exactly. So defensively, the game's going to change a lot, but also, I feel like 3-point shots are going to be basically impossible, so you probably have to move the 3-point line in a little bit.
What if you just made them like 30-point shots?
That could be. Maybe actually
what's
just
the
make
plus
them...
minus of the score that you would need?
You just make them, yeah.
I think you could make it if you just do like an overhand throw.
But I feel like anytime you try to throw a beach ball overhand, it just like, it goes about like 6 feet forward and then just like stops entirely and drops straight down.
No, it curves. It does that curve where it just like starts like making a circle.
It's like a paper airplane where you throw it as hard as you can. It just goes straight down.
Yeah, exactly. So 3-point shot maybe just doesn't work anymore. I think you keep it there as like an aspirational thing, and at some point someone will hit one and like everyone will go crazy. But like it's gonna be tricky. I did have one idea if the dribbling is too much of a problem, which is fans in the ground.
Okay.
Not that strong, because if you make it too strong, you're just not gonna be able to like control a shot at all. But just enough to just like push it back up to you. Just a little extra oomph there, you know?
Just like an anti-gravity chamber, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But overall, like, basketball actually isn't that absurd.
Is it still possible to dribble with the fans in the ground?
You just have to throw it down harder.
Okay.
Like, the problem is, I'm seeing a situation where you dribble it down and it comes, like, halfway back up. You just need, like, a little more oomph to get it back up to your hand.
I now have an image of just, like, a guy smashed, like, spiking the ball as hard as he can every time he needs to dribble.
Yeah.
And just, like, windmill arming down and down and down.
It's not the most graceful game, I will admit.
Just shouting constantly as he runs across the field. Court
is the word you're looking for, yeah. The fans are also maybe a bit of a safety concern for the players, but you know.
Oh, I thought you meant like the fans on the stage.
Oh,
the
no.
stands. I'm like, what do the fans have to do with
The
it?
dribble fans.
It just looks so fun that all the fans have to come down and play.
There's actually also another very fun defensive strategy that will come about because of the beach ball, which is that, once the ball is on its way back down, like from the top of its arc, you can't touch it. But there's nothing in the rules that says you can't wave your arms furiously. So I feel like you just get players with really big hands and just like train just like wave their arms a lot when people shoot, and just like see if you can just like push it out of the way.
And the next year they had to institute what they called the fan ban.
It's the 4-wave rule, actually. You get 4 waves and nothing more.
Is there a specific rule in basketball about taking off your jersey to add your fan efforts?
So you say this, I'm actually pretty sure you're technically supposed to have your jersey tucked in at all times, but don't quote me on that.
So there is a rule against it.
I think they already know it's going to go down. Like, they're preparing. So basketball, it actually works pretty well. The other sport I looked at is football, which as someone who grew up a lot in Texas, I'm a pretty big fan of football. Football doesn't really work, guys. So there's a lot of issues. There are a couple of major improvements to the game of football with beach balls. First off, anytime the ball is kicked, gonna be hilarious. Really funny. Second, more so than that, anytime someone's running with the ball, really funny, because you can't really tuck it under an arm anymore. It doesn't really you can't really do that and run. So you kind of have to like hold it in front of yourself with 2 hands like a baby and just like run like that. Which, just imagining someone football players are very fast, and just seeing someone run like a 4.40 holding a beach ball directly out in front of themselves is one of the funniest things I can imagine.
I like that mental image.
So that's going to be really good.
Visibility will be poor.
Yes, that's also true. One other issue is that you're going to have a lot of fumbles.
Well, you have the option to kind of keep playing, like keep it up, like just keep hitting it up.
Yeah, it's going to stay in the air a lot longer.
I guess that's true. But I mean, anytime, you just wave your arm around, you're going to hit that ball out. It's coming out. And then good luck trying to, pick up a beach ball as 11 other, or I guess 21 other people are trying to also pick it up.
I'd imagine it would pop a lot, right?
I was thinking about that. I think you might actually have to get rid of padding, because that just, I'm seeing situations people run into each other and the ball is between them and just immediate bursting.
Yeah, well, that's fine, I think, because once all paper's gone, all those concussion studies are going to be disappeared anyway.
That's true. Just immediately out of there, no problem. So I also don't think you can really pass anymore. I don't think it works because it's just not going to move fast enough. They're just going to grab it out of the air every time, and you can only throw it 10 feet.
What are the pass interference rules? Because in my head, Tom Brady gets the ball. He tosses up slightly. He's going to go for a good long pass. He's going to spike it. And he hits it. And it goes. And like beach balls do, it goes about 6 feet. And then does that weird curve where it kind of just goes straight up instead of anything else. And now there's just 7, 8 players standing underneath it ready to catch it.
Yep. That's pretty much how it went in my mind too. And I don't think that works.
So are you allowed to just start smacking people? When can you start smacking people? When does it all converge into one amalgam of football players?
As long as you're technically trying to get to the ball, you're okay, I think.
So you have to stretch up your hands and be like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
And then you can kick the person next to you.
Right, yeah, the refs will be listening for effort sounds. That's kind of really the real indication that you're trying to get to the ball. Is you're going get there,
Yeah, I would say you could put little microphones in the helmets, but they're not going to be wearing helmets.
Right, yeah, because otherwise you're just going to pop on the face guard. So yeah, the other also real big problem with football is that, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but football was traditionally played out of doors.
Yes, as is colloquially known.
And there's wind outside, and wind and beach balls don't work very well together. So on the one hand, if the wind is going up the field, it does make it really easy for one team and basically impossible for the other one.
Yeah, what happens if the quarterback throws it, and then the wind just blows it right back into the quarterback's hands, and he hasn't moved anywhere yet?
That is technically...
Is that a completed pass?
That is actually... So, fun fact, yes it is. And he cannot throw it again.
What if he really wants to?
Nope, it's illegal. So, I think just overall, football, as amusing as the idea of people running very fast away from people with a beach ball in their hands is, I don't think it kind of works. You'd have to move it indoors, definitely. You might have to have fewer players just to make it work at all, because, if you can't pass, everyone's just going to, run straight at each other, so, 8-on-8 football is a thing. Maybe do that. Maybe that's a little better. I still think it doesn't really work. there's some pretty fundamental issues you have with this sport and a beach ball.
So is that your fix? Just bring it indoors and reduce the players?
I think that's as close as you're going to get. And I think at that point, you're just basically playing weird rugby.
And no pads, because the ball is more important than the people.
Yes, if anything, the ball is more important than the people has been the slogan of the NFL for the past, 10 years, so...
Oh, yeah, tell me about it. Remember when they deflated all their players and no one gave a shit, but the second they deflated a ball, it was like an uproar.
It's crazy. But yeah, that's as close as you're going to get is, move it inside, take some players away, and take away the pads, and then it's basically just rugby, but you still call it football. So, problem solved, guys. What do you got?
Yeah, continuing our mission of fixing sports, Chris.
Okay, so the first sport I did was bowling. There are two main problems I saw with bowling. One, the lane is too long, so if you throw the ball, I don't really think it's going to reach the end of the lane, or it might just veer off to the side or something. And two, the pins won't fall down. That's the obvious problem.
And three, the pizza's still so expensive at these places. God, $4 a slice.
So to solve the lane problem, I figured there needs to be some way to get the ball actually down to the pins. So I was thinking of a slope, maybe, just a really dramatic slope. You can just place the ball down and it'll roll down. That'll get it to the pins.
Oh yeah, like that. You ever see those training, not the training things, but for the kids, they have the ramps for the bowling ball?
Yeah, but only super dramatic. So a 30% slope.
Yeah, and at the end of it is the pins. It's just humongous.
Yeah. So that'll work.
That'll get down there.
But it's still don't think it'll knock down the pins. So in order to fix that problem, I was thinking, well, obviously you need to make the pins lighter. So the ratio of the pin to bowling ball weight is about 20%. The pins are 20% the weight of the bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if you make the pins 20% the beach ball, then it should work. But if you have pins that light, they're not going to stand up just if you just put them on the ground. It's going to be really hard to keep them up.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe I just choose the solution and instead try to match the momentum of a bowling ball going into the pins. So I tried to figure out how fast I need to throw the beach ball to match the momentum. And I found out that you need to throw it 323 miles per hour.
Oh, shit. So you want to stretch first?
Yeah. So if you're throwing it that hard, you probably don't need the slope anymore. So I got rid of the slope.
Right.
So the ground is back to flat. And
the slope is a rounding error.
Just to give a little frame of reference for that speed, terminal velocity for a human being is 120 miles per hour. Not even half what you need to throw it.
Yeah, so that's how people survive skydiving accidents.
Yeah, it's really not that fast at all.
Yeah, the wimps.
The takeoff speed of a Boeing 747 is 180 miles per hour. World record top speed Formula 1 car is 250 miles per hour. Still not quite what we need. And then the fastest car in the world, which just broke the record this year, is made by Hennessy and it's called the Venom F5. And that goes 301 miles per hour.
Oh, that's real close.
Yeah, so I think we're going to use that. So I was thinking, when you bowl, you usually step up to the line and then throw the ball.
Uh-huh.
Well, to replace that step up, we're going to have a mile-long runway. We're going to get this car. We're going to accelerate it to 300 miles per hour. And when you reach the line, you're just going to let go of the ball. And it's going to go into the pins, and it's going to work.
And it's going to work. It's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Now, my slight alternative, I like this a lot. I think to make it slightly cooler is that you have your lane, and next to your lane, running parallel, is your race track.
That was my thought as well, actually.
And when you get to 80% of the track, you start your drift. And the drift swings out the ball and hits the pins on that swing around. You stick the tail out.
I like this modification.
I'll get the engineers right on.
Yes, we're going to build it.
Someone call Mr. Salisbury. He needs to update the plans.
So I think that basically solves the bowling problem. We can play bowling now with the beach ball.
Well, one person,
yeah,
one place with the one car.
We can get more than one car.
Yeah, just talk to Hennessy.
Yeah.
The margins of profit are pretty wide at a bowling alley. You can probably get the fastest car in the world on that salary.
So the second sport I did was golf, and the problems I saw with golf are obviously the hole is too small. Wind is a problem, and the distance, because golf courses are really big, so distance is a problem because if you hit a beach ball, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, tell me more about how golf courses are big.
So to solve the hole problem, it's pretty easy. You just make a bigger hole. So like a 2-foot diameter hole would work. And then for the wind speeds, I looked up cities that have like the lowest average wind speeds, and a lot of cities in Arizona, Washington, and Oregon have below 2 miles per hour wind speeds. So as long as you're playing in those cities, then you're fine.
That like feels muggy, like it's just like dead air, like that.
Yeah.
When you like that stale dead air. That's just what I'm imagining.
I mean,
now.
that's what you need. You don't want your beach ball blowing around everywhere.
Yeah, but I don't want to be outside all day there.
And then the distance problem, I think the obvious solution would be to make the course smaller, but I think that's the boring solution. I want to keep the course the same size. So in order to do that, I tried to come up with why a beach ball doesn't go as far as a golf ball. It's because of air resistance. So a golf ball sees, when it gets hit at the point of impact, the golf ball sees 1 pound of air resistance. If a beach ball is traveling at the same speed, it sees 100 pounds of air resistance. So that's 100 times the air resistance.
Wow.
So I was thinking, in order to counteract this, we need to hit it with 100 times the force. So I was like, how do we do this? And 4 words came into mind: crane and wrecking ball.
Yes.
So I have like a 2-crane system. You need 2 cranes, and you're gonna lift the beach ball with one, or not the beach ball. You're gonna lift the wrecking ball with 1 crane, and then you're gonna use the second crane to like lift it into a pendulum position so you can actually swing it.
Right. I have the mental image.
But it turns out the heaviest wrecking ball is 12,000 pounds, and that's not heavy enough.
What?
Yeah, to do 100 times the force. What we need is 200,000 pounds of force.
Unobtainium, let's get it.
And in order to achieve that, we need something that weighs 1,900,000 pounds. So I was looking at things that are heavy.
Google, what is heavy?
Yeah, well, based on my research from the Boeing thing, and I was researching speeds, I found that a different model of the Boeing E767, is conveniently 190,000 pounds.
Nice.
So that's perfect. We'll use a Boeing E767.
And just put on a good old crane and just go whoosh.
Yeah, so I got the tallest crane in the world, which has a vertical reach of 330 feet, and that has a carrying capacity of over 2 million pounds. So it doesn't struggle to carry this Boeing at all.
I have one more alternative idea for you, Chris.
Yes.
You have your plane, something nimble, like a fighter jet. You put the ball on a tee so the ball is level with the nose of the plane. You have the plane start to take off. The plane, as it's taking off, hits the ball. Stroke 1. Ball is now flying in the air. You hit the plane, you fly the plane to hit the ball again, and you juggle the ball forward as far as you can, bouncing it off the plane as you go down the golf course.
We're going to need bigger golf courses. Way bigger golf courses.
Yeah, see, Chris, you're thinking too small. We need bigger golf courses.
I mean, I like that idea, but it doesn't keep in spirit of golf. Like, my pendulum idea is basically just a giant golf club, right?
You're right. I just made fighter jet soccer.
Yeah.
Which sounds excellent, personally.
And the cool thing about using these Boeings is, like, normally when you play golf, you have a whole set of clubs for different purposes, like mid-range, long-range, short-range. Well, different model Boeings weigh different amounts. So if you want to put a little extra power on your ball, just use a 747. That's 300,000 pounds.
If you thought golf was inaccessible before, you're in for a treat.
If you want a teeny light tap, all you need is a Boeing 720, which is only 120,000 pounds.
Wow. Slim. Must be dieting.
Who says golf is just for rich white dudes?
So that's how you play golf with a beach ball.
It's extreme. I did not expect to go that extreme. two of the most mundane pastime activities. But I guess that means my turn, huh?
Yeah, Marcus, what do you have?
I kind of went the sports spectrum from awesome sports to boring sports, and seeing how the beach ball affected them. So, awesome sport I'm going to start with. Hockey. Dramatic. Exciting. Fast-paced. Brutal. Beach ball takes a lot of that out of it. Beach balls are not fast. Beach balls are very fragile. Some of the problems, first off, the beach ball doesn't fit in the net. Like, it technically fits. And I know, Ben, you said you had a 15-inch beach ball. I imagine it like a little bit bigger in my head, like a 2.5-foot-ish beach ball. So it doesn't fit in the net. And even if it fits, the goalie's going to block it every time. So first off, the goal's got to get bigger. So you're going to have big goals, probably like soccer-sized goals. The other problem is this beach ball with the skates is just going to pop all the time. Like, the skates are just going to poke it, you're going to kick it, it's going to pop, and you're just going to have to stop the game every 2 minutes.
I didn't even think about the skates.
So and this sounds similar to your idea, Ben, but taken to a much better level, is that you're going to have regular hockey and turn it into big air hockey. So you're going to have jets all over the ice rink blowing straight up to keep the ball at about like shoulder height. And that's going to be the main way. So the players are still on the ground skating, but the ball is always about 3 feet above the ground.
So they're swinging like a baseball bat?
Yeah, so sticks are probably going to pop the ball too. So you're going to have to... So I was like, okay, so you have bats. And then we're still kind of like in the safe zone. Like hockey is a violent sport. So how can we make this better? And I decided not just bats. You're going to use those big foam fighting Q-tips as your method of hitting the ball around. And fights are just allowed all the time. So you just basically just got all these guys with these foam Q-tips skating around at like 30 miles an hour, hitting this beach ball around while beating the shit out of each other. And, I mean, this is already an amazing sport.
Yeah, I would watch this.
But I have one problem left, because I made the goal so big. And it kind of works in soccer, but the problem with hockey is that you need momentum to go fast on ice, so the goalie's not going to be able to make, like, a dive for, like, the slide. And so I was like, maybe I just give him a really big, long stick, and that was kind of boring. And I was like, maybe I just don't put ice by the goal, which is also kind of boring. And then I realized there is an elegant solution that not only solves the problem in a great way, but is also good for the stadiums. And that is the goalie defends the goal with a t-shirt gun. So basically every time the ball is going to like the top corner pocket, the goalie just like and blocks the beach ball, which is light enough that the t-shirt's just going to knock it away. And not only that, every time the goalie makes a save or tries to make a save, someone gets a t-shirt.
And the fans go crazy.
It's just going to be a fucking buck wild time. And it's kind of one of those things where like, here's this big problem, here's how we solve it. But actually, I think that my solution is better than what it originally was.
I agree with this.
Do you guys have any other improvements that you can think of to this hockey sport?
I think you got it, man.
Yeah, I think he is pretty much perfect now.
What if everyone had t-shirt cannons?
Yes.
Everyone has t-shirt cannons, and all the time, and everything.
We did it, everyone.
We fix sports.
We fix sports.
It really has nothing to do with the beach ball. It's just give people t-shirt cannons.
Yeah, it's just a good idea.
Well, it wouldn't stop a hockey puck.
That's true.
If you have enough t-shirts, man, you can stop anything.
Chris, quick, do the math. How many t-shirts do we need to get to 190,000 pounds?
10.
Okay. Sport number 2, baseball. Sucks, is boring. Everyone knows. But weirdly, the beach ball, while also sucking and being boring, breaks almost all of baseball. So pitching, hitting, and catching, I tried to think of different ways. They're basically all non-starters. You can't hit the ball very far. Catching the ball is like annoying or trivial. And pitching is you just can't. So the only thing left in baseball is running around the bases. And I think in my world, this baseball become kind of a baseball-football fusion. And so I think the way the game plays is that the pitcher throws the ball to the batter, and the batter picks up the ball and runs to first base. And it becomes a full contact sport where everybody on the field who were starting their initial positions try to go and tackle the guy running. Now, I think the selling point here is that you got a big beach ball. Mine is a bigger ball. Like, I imagine like he's holding like this 3-foot ball. So if first baseman runs at him straight on, the guy running just hits him with the ball and the other guy bounces away. So you have like this juggernaut running around the bases while all the fielders try to stop him. And so momentum's a thing. So if you have, some slim little guy running and big beefy first baseman comes and stops him, like he's just going to run into him and the runner's going to be the one that bounces off. So you're going to need to initiate weight classes.
Why wouldn't everyone just gather around first base? You know that he's going to go to first base.
You have to start in your initial field positions. So, and I think this kind of balances it out because if you can go for a single pretty easy. Like you got to take care of the pitcher probably, the catcher, you have to outrun the catcher, and the first baseman has a direct line. And if you're slow, maybe the second baseman gets there. If you go for a double, you're going to have to worry about like the right fielder's going to get in there, a quick center fielder's going to get there. You have the second and first baseman behind you. You have the second baseman in front of you, first baseman behind you, catcher behind you, pitcher coming at you from the side. Doubles are going to be tough. And triples is going to be the whole offensive line is coming at you. The whole defensive line, is coming at you.
And home run's just not going to happen ever.
Yeah, so home runs are going to be kind of tough. But, the next person goes up, and then they have more people to try to tackle. I think you you just hold on to all these balls as you're going around.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes. You definitely keep the ball, and then it's just like a simultaneous running situation.
Exactly. And I think it would be pretty cool with different, like, weight class. So you have, like, the heavyweight, like, batters are heavyweights, so they start in the heavyweight class. And then all the fielders have to be, like, in the lightweight class. So you really want to emphasize these fielders getting bounced off this big ball. they're gonna have to try to do like some slide tackles and some tricky nonsense to try to stop these runners, because otherwise they're just gonna get barreled over.
You want it to be like Wipeout style bouncing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
basically Wipeout style bouncing. Oh, that's so good. You make the middle like that weird mud water that they use, and like the only dry land is the running path.
And that slows down the other fielders. It's perfect.
And it slows down the fielders, gives you a better chance, maybe get some more doubles.
That's good.
So, I mean, I think that's just already better than baseball. A lot of the sport goes away. You don't have to worry about statistics anymore, which is probably a good thing. They'll be like, oh yeah, this guy is .404 RBIs, first man on in the second inning on Tuesdays. And it's like, wow, really? Really? You kept track of that, huh?
What's even the point of the pitcher pitching the ball if the batter's just going to pick it up and run?
Just to get the action started.
Just the spirit of the sport.
Yeah, the spirit of the sport. Like, it gives you that dramatic moment while, like, you know, the camera zooms into the ball coming up, and like it's like getting close, and the batter's ready, and he just picks it up, and everyone just explodes.
Well, I think the idea too is that like basically the fielders can't move until the batter touches the ball. So if you pitch it well, you make it difficult for the batter to initially get the ball.
So if he fumbles with it.
Exactly, he gets a little extra time.
But then if it's too bad, he can choose not to pick it up if it's like if he pitches a ball.
Yeah, if you miss the base completely.
So there's still a strike zone.
No, I don't think you have the balls and the strikes. I don't think you can miss with a beach ball, and I think it's boring to just like have nothing happen for a few minutes in baseball. So it's just gonna be action packed. Baseball games are gonna be about 20 minutes long total for 9 innings.
Of people bouncing off of balls.
Yeah, because any longer than that, the players would actually die.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think I fixed both of these sports.
I mean, I think we all solved every sport.
Except for football. Football is an intractable problem.
Well, I mean, yeah, we just have to combine. What you didn't know, you're missing the baseball piece. You had to combine it with baseball.
You're right. Really, we need to consolidate sports. That's the answer here.
Yeah. So the baseball players would remain the fielders, and then the big football players would be the new batters.
Perfect.
So that would just about do it for this week. Tune in next week for our next questions. What if all animals were the same size? And what if you had to buy everything that you saw an ad for? If you have any questions, comments, or your own hypothetical idea you want us to answer, let us know. You can reach us by email at absurdhypotheticals@gmail.com. Send us a tweet at absurdhype, that's HYPE hype. Visit our website, www.nerdchomp.com/absurdhypotheticals. And if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps out the show and lets us keep making it for you.